I thought you were so open-minded.
It's not about being open-minded, Safa.
I thought you were so
It's not about being open-minded. Hear me out. Stop guessing the whole thing. Idea is about first finding out first.
Your voice is too loud.
Huh?
I'm the type of person, I'm very possessive over my friends. I'm sorry, but I am very possessive over you. Like, you're supposed to be my buddy, you know?
Enough, come on.
Talking to Ebraheem is talking like a chihuahua that just barks.
I always say to my employees,
I'm not
problem,
your employee.
you're not my employee, but maybe one day you'll be.
الجوسب والدراما تو فيست وهلا انا بالنسبه لإلي جاسوس.
God. Okay. A quick word of advice to those of you that are just starting off with the show, Dubai Blings, all right? See, don't be too hasty to picking a particular cast member as your fave because, hey, you're going to be taken on an emotional roller coaster. See, these cast members, they're cuckoo. You're crazy. I mean, that was exactly what happened to me whilst watching the episode 3 of the show. So we're gonna go ahead and analyze the episode 3 of Dubai Blings. And as usual, I'll urge you all to please watch to the end of this video. Do not skip any part, all right? So that you do not miss out on any part. And yeah, I would love to know your thoughts about the events as they unfold, yes, in the comment section of this video below. But before we get into it, as usual, let me officially welcome all of you back to my YouTube channel. Hi, you are especially welcome back. My name is Gloria Elijah. This is Frankly Speaking with Glory, and I am the girl with the T. And yeah, if you are new on here, thank you so much for choosing to click on this video to watch. But please do not hesitate to do exactly what you see on your screen so that you can receive a lot of my videos whenever I upload a new one, all right? And if you are a returning viewer or a returning subscriber, thank you so much for choosing to come back. You are the realest MVP. Without much further ado, let's quickly get into this analysis. Quickly, before we get into the analysis of this particular episode, let me just put a quick disclaimer out there that on Saturday, during our FSWG Saturday YouTube live stream, we had done a character analysis of the cast members, and in the process of doing that, we had gone ahead to touch up on some of the events in order to be able to accurately analyze the personalities of the cast members. So for that reason, moving forward, I'm just going to be touching up on the highlights of each of the episodes. It's probably going to be all the scenes anyways, yes, because the way the show was actually tailored out, every single scene has some sort of highlights, right? So for this particular episode 3, thankfully, not all the scenes had major highlights like that. So for this one, we're going to start with Lejane's trip to a motorcycle store, yeah, where her younger brother wanted to purchase a bike. Now, he made it look like he wanted to purchase a bike, but on the flip side, he wanted Lejane to pay for it, yes. And we know that Lejane is more like the upright cast member of the show, the one that's always very, very moralistic, the one that's always very traditional, the one that upholds to the fullest, religious and societal values to the fullest. And so she refused to pay for the motorcycle, yes, for reasons being that, oh, the brother is a risk taker. He's more like a daredevil. He likes taking huge risk, yes. And for that reason, she doesn't want to always give herself a panic attack whenever he takes the motorcycle out for a spin. And also because he's not going to be the one paying for it anyways. And so he might not really value, the item itself or even his life whilst using it. And so she had blatantly told her brother that for him to own that bike, he has to work extra hard to buy it for himself. Frankly, that kind of made me happy because right from the start of the show, I kind of felt like Lejane was over pampering her brother. I mean, the guy is no longer a kid. At his age, he should have an apartment of his own. At his age, he should be working or possibly even married, but for the fact that he lives with her and she literally provides all of his needs, yes, guys, that did not sit well with me. So I was kind of happy that she did not indulge him this time around. If he wants a toy, for a motorcycle, then he should buy it himself. Another scene that was a crazy highlight was LJ's desert getaway. Now, if you all recall, in episode 2, LJ had actually invited a few of her friends, with the exception of Farhana, yes, for a desert getaway. For her, she wanted to treat them to a nice time, you know, to a relaxation time out. Ebraheem had volunteered because she had asked. So Ebraheem had volunteered to do some flower arrangements for the setup, and whilst DJ Bliss had agreed, you know, because of course LJ had also asked again, right? So DJ Bliss had also accepted to be the one in charge of the entertainment for the after party of the dinner. So it was a D-Day, and they had all proceeded to the desert, to the venue. Some had been able to make it at the same time, you know, so they could go as a group, whilst the likes of Safar and her husband Fahad, Jane, what's his name now, Chris and his fiancée Brihanna, they had not been around. Even Fade, Fade is a new cast member that apparently is a cousin to DJ Khaled, yes. So those ones were not available at the moment and had promised to show up later. So the other people had all proceeded to the desert together. Ebraheem was also not there. Ebraheem promised to show up later. Now, they had gotten to the venue, which was actually lovely, by the way. It's the setup, guys, it was really, really beautiful and serene, yes. They had gotten to the venue, and the men had decided to go on a camel back ride, and they had left. And that was when, lo and behold, Farhana shows up with some of our influencer friends, inclusive of Danya. Now guys, if you also recall that scene in episode 2 where LJ was inviting her friends, Danya and Ebraheem, they were also part of that meeting at LJ's house, where she was actually extending invitation to them. So the fact that Danya was with Farhana for a so-called photo shoot at the same location as LJ's getaway, guys, it was all shades of suspicion. Of course, just as expected, LJ and Zena, they were shocked to their bones. Yes, they were really shocked. LJ was not really happy at all that Farhana had showed up, right? And Danya was acting like, oh, she didn't know what was happening. According to her, they did not know that it was going to be the same location as LJ's event, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, Zena decided to be the bigger person, you know, to walk over to Farhana and her clique, you know, to say hi and even invite them over to join them for the getaway, whatever they were having. And by the time she was walking towards them, she overheard Farhana, you know, saying out loud to her fellow influencers that, oh, ignore her, she's a nosy woman, Now, unfortunately for her, Zena heard, because she wasn't even whispering. She was actually talking out loud, you know, making it look like she was actually whispering. But it was obvious that Farhana wanted Zena to hear what she was saying. So Zena heard that, and that ticked her off. Farhana was flaring hot, accusing Zena of gossiping about her. But Zena, on the other hand, was, you know, standing her ground. Like, hey, whatever you heard about yourself, those were things I actually said to your face. And then that was where Farhana came with the conversation of, oh, whatever I'm doing, you know, it's my job. I'm doing it for my son, to support my son. You, whatever you are doing, you're doing it for your own glory. You're not doing it to support your kids. And guys, that was the part that really ticked me off, because initially, I felt like the others were kind of ganging up on Farhana. But then the fact that Farhana felt like she was the only one that had justification for her hustle, and every other person did not have any justification whatsoever for their own hustle simply because they are already wealthy, guys, I just felt like that was just low. That was very, very insensitive of her to say, and that was very, very low, because hey, I mean, Zena complained much later on the show that she did not even have time for her kids, for her family, because she was working really hard. So I was wondering, like, okay, how was Zena, you know, hustling as a real estate agent, you know, to all for her glory and not to support her family as well, you know? So at that point in time, I started seeing Farhana in a different light. It just felt like she was playing the victim again. I just felt like, you know, she just wasn't sensitive enough to other people's plight, and so she wanted people to only see her as the struggling single mom. And guys, it's not like she's not even receiving support from her husband, whom she separated from, guys. So I don't know, but Farhana was just very annoying at that point in time. Now, Danya, on the other hand, was acting like she did not know what was happening, guys. But then I was thinking that, okay, we've seen this kind of thing happen before on other Real Housewives show, right? Production will set up a meeting, and even though the cast members are not really aware of what's happening, but we know that sometimes production is guilty, or responsible for causing drama sometimes where there is none, So I was thinking at first that, okay, could it be that Danya or even Ebraheem, spilled about the location to Farhana? Or it could be that production themselves actually set things up. Yes. But anyways, I loved the way LJ had actually shushed away Farhana, because Farhana even decided to come directly to where LJ was and was still talking back at Zena.
Like you keep talking about it over and over and over again.
Okay, let me know when you're
Are
done.
you jealous that my birthday was?
If you think it's appropriate for you to come and have a fight with her here, then no. But you're in my getaway. So please, if you want to talk with Zaina, have some respect.
Okay.
And I liked the way she did it. Yeah, I liked the way she did it. I felt like she acted more mature in that scenario. But then the party was lit, everybody was having so much fun, but then something else exciting happened, right? Now, because LJ was the host and DJ Bliss was just trying to make LJ feel special, make everybody have fun, he had invited LJ to his DJ podium, to spin the wheel, to change the music, just make everybody happy. But guess what? Everybody was having fun, but Danya was all the way at the back sulking. Guys, this lady was literally so jealous of LJ that during her confessionals she started making friendly threats like, are you having a crush on my husband? Stay away from my husband. I'm like, what's wrong with Danya? I don't understand. What exactly is wrong with Danya? Like, why is it that her insecurities, guys, it's like her insecurities just constantly rear its ugly head, thereby exposing her inferiority complex, guys. I feel like she has this very, very terrible complex that makes her feel like, oh, everybody is better than her. She's the smallest person in the room. Hence, she has to create a lot of drama, to make it look like, oh, yes, I have a voice. I have a voice. And then there was something else that was just very silly, in my opinion, that she did. LJ was asking about Chris and Brianna's preparations for their wedding. And Chris was just making light jokes about how he doesn't want to interfere in Brianna's preparations because he always gets a no whenever he tries to suggest something. And then Danya went ahead to ask Brianna, do you feel like you have a voice? And guys, it was so funny because everybody knows that in Chris and Brianna's relationship, even though in the open, Brianna tends to humble herself, and gives Chris more of the floor to speak, make him feel like a man, but in the closet, she is literally the one that has the reins of that relationship going, So it was just so funny because Chris and Brianna, they were literally laughing during their confessionals, like, okay, when Danya made that statement, they just did not really understand where that was coming from. But they could also recognize that that lady is probably dealing with a lot of insecurities, or she could possibly be dealing with, being stifled in a marriage to DJ Bliss, right? So they were just laughing about it. So guys, it's really said a lot about Danya's personality, or possibly also her struggles, the battles, the things that she's battling with, especially with her husband's career as a DJ, as a famous DJ in Dubai. Whilst all of that fun was happening in the desert, Safa and her husband were on their way there, but then they were caught up in a heated argument because the husband wanted to be sure that Safa was not going to pull up another stunt, in public again, announcing the ridiculous idea of her taking up surrogacy to give him another child. And this did not sit well with Safa, who felt like the husband was being too uptight, was being too serious. And so they were caught up in a crazy heated argument to the point that the husband, got upset and declared that he was no longer attending the event, that she was free to go by herself, and Safa refused to go. So they both ended up not even attending the event anyways. And the good thing is their quarrel did not last for too long, because one thing I've noticed about Fahad is the soft spot he has for his wife, Safa. Yes, he doesn't know how to stay upset with her for too long. Yes, and also contributing to it was the fact that he had a conversation with DJ Bliss, I think the next day, and DJ Bliss had actually advised him to go ahead and take her out to dinner or on a date, just make up with her, apologize to her, be the bigger person, because he's the man of the house. And he had done exactly that. And guys, oh my God, that date was so romantic. It was so romantic. It was such a beautiful setup. But then it was kind of annoying at the same time that even whilst Fahad was trying to make peace with Safa, she still chose that romantic moment to still talk about the house, to still talk about the child. Guys, it was just so annoying. And Fahad, now, in order to avoid another argument that would erupt, he had just gone with the flow of the conversation for him and let peace reign as long as they don't have any argument anymore. And guys, to be very honest, at that point in time, Safa was just so annoying. Another major highlight for this particular episode was Farhana's poetry session. So Ebraheem lost his temper. He lost his cool to the point of even breaking some of the pots. Yes, out of annoyance. So Farhana had invited him out for a poetry painting session, and she had chosen that time to just nag and complain about the fact that Ebraheem, who's supposed to be her best friend, is now all of a sudden becoming pals with LJ, who of course is a sworn enemy on the show. Now, she was nagging and just yapping to the point that Ebraheem lost his temper and, smashed the pot on the floor out of annoyance, because he kept on telling her to change the conversation, but she was not listening. She just kept on yapping and prattling on. And guys, once again, Farhana was very annoying in this particular episode, because from the things that she was saying, she was actually expecting Ebraheem to be beefing, what's her name now, LJ, simply because she is not on talking terms with LJ. And I'm like, what kind of IQ does this woman have? What kind of mentality is that? Like, so because you're best friends with someone, you want that person to automatically inherit your beef with that person? Like, how does that even make sense? And guys, it was just very, very disgusting to listen to. It was just very annoying. So I could really understand why Ebraheem lost his temper, because Ebraheem made a valid point that, listen, if someone has not done something to me, then I wouldn't do anything wrong to that person as well, right? And it was very obvious that Ebraheem had been very hasty to jump into conclusion, right, about LJ. Yeah, because after their blind date, he had been very hasty to telling all of his friends that, oh, LJ is this, LJ is that, LJ has a bad attitude, LJ is saucy, LJ is bitchy, X, Y, and Z, so now he has now discovered that, okay, this person is not as bad as I thought. She was probably having a bad day on the day we had our blind date, and now he's trying to make amends. He's trying to be cool with LJ, but Farhana is now feeling like, oh, Ebraheem is switching camps. Ebraheem is no longer loyal to her, but now loyal to LJ. Farhana was just very annoying at that scene, to be very honest. She was just very, very annoying. Moving on to the final scene of this particular episode, which was actually my favorite scene because of how dramatic it turned out to be. Yes, courtesy of Ebraheem. Ebraheem was really petty and savage. Anyways, Zina and Safa had decided to pay him a visit at his place of business to discuss the drama that was already happening in the circle, courtesy of the gossip that Ebraheem had shared with Farhana that, oh, Zina and Safa said X, Y, and Z about her. Yes, so they had decided to pay him a visit to discuss it, to find out his reason, his agenda, for taking that particular line of action. Now, if we're going to call a spade, guys, personally, I did not really like the fact that they did what they did, visiting Ebraheem at his place of business. But if we're going to look at it on the flip side, I mean, they couldn't have actually predicted Ebraheem's reaction to their visit, right? And that was where the problem started. Ebraheem was kind of very uncouth to them. The way he spoke to them in a very rude manner. Yes, I mean, addressing someone as your staff and saying that, oh yes, you're going to be my staff very soon, that kind of thing, guys. I just felt like that was rude. I mean, if we are being honest with ourselves again, Zina is kind of older than Ebraheem. Ebraheem is a young man, so even though they are friends rolling in the same circle, I was kind of expecting that Ebraheem should extend some level of courtesy to, both women, especially because they're also married and they're mothers, right? But then it was very, very savage, it was kind of also rude and kind kind of insulted them a bit, right? And even though the other two ladies were kind of calmly speaking with him, you know, this guy was kind of very, very savage to them. And that was where the battle line was drawn between Zina especially and Ebraheem as she and Safa stormed out of the coffee shop. And even though Ebraheem kind of insulted them, Ebraheem was kind of saying that, oh well, that he's going to pay them back. And I'm like, okay, this is not good. This is not going to end well at all. But anyways, guys, that was it about episode 3 of Dubai Bling. I don't want to give you guys more spoilers because I need you to watch it for yourself and experience the show for yourself. But if you've seen this particular episode already, please go ahead. Let me know your thoughts about all the drama that happened. What do you think about the last scene? What do you think about Safa and her husband Fahad's quarrel? What do you think about LJ and Farhana's quarrel? What do you think about Zina and Farhana's quarrel? What do you think about everybody that's quarreling on the show? Just go ahead and share your thoughts with me in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys on another episode of Frankly Speaking with Gloria Elijah. Have an amazing day. Bye.